Chagigah daf Yud Aleph. The Gemara explains that the Mishnah says that meilah are kaharorim hatluyim b'sayro, and the one Maskana says it's going to the halacha of niska mishalech, niska shliach, and the shliach is mal. And the Gemara says that's fair. What's the chiddush midid ahava amoitzi mois hektish to chulin? And Gemara says that the chiddush over here is that since he doesn't know that he has Mois hektish b'chlal, so if you would think that he's potter, and that's the chiddush. Nevertheless, the shliach is chayiv. The netzivim u'meisod and the sameach point out that there's a tremendous chiddush they see in our Gemara over here, that although in such a situation, if somebody would give his friend chaylev instead of shuman, and you feed his friend a dover iser, the friend that's eating it would be potter because it's a oinus, he's Misaeik. It doesn't have to assume that his friend is giving him dvar iser. Nevertheless, the gabi hektish is a chiddush that in such a situation you're chayiv. And Sameach says that is mavur in the Gemara in Pesachim Daf Lamed Gimel. The hektish is chayiv Misaeik. The miskor hadvarim is from the sugi over here that we find that there's a chayiv even on Misaeik for being moil behektish. Moving for the other Gemara says that the Shiur mikvah is like siva, and it's no doubt from Rachatzis b'sor b'mayim shakol gufay oila b'hen v'kam mahem amal brum shalish amal v'shiur chachamim mei mikvah aboim so. The shiur of a mikvah is aboim so amal by amal, and the height 3 amal. That's the shiur hechsha of a mikvah. The Turi Evan over here says that we learn out, that the shiur hechsha mikvah is mem saw, the amma brum shalish amma. It's only by an average person that if he goes in to an area that has amma by brum shalish ammas, that will cover up to his head, and then when he bends down his head, he goes in to the water, and that water covers his entire body. However, if you have a giant that can't fit in to the shiur mikvah of memsah, that he won't be able to be toivel in memsah, and for a giant the shiur of the mikvah is more than memsah. And Turi Evan asks, if that's the case, then why isn't the shiur of my mikvah included in the Mishnah in Perikid Zayin Hilchos Kaleb of Hakol Lefi Mashu Adam, and various shiurim are totally in the different sizes of people? The shiur varies on the size of the meilah. And the Turi Evan asks, why don't we say the same thing in regard to my mikvah as well, that it should be included in the Mishnah Kol Lefi Mashu Adam? So Turi Evan says the answer is that in Huska in the Mishnah they don't have a shiur mesuyim at all, milmato or lamalo, and it's all totally in Lefi Mashu Adam. However, by the shiur mikvah of memsah, although it doesn't have a specific shiur meilah and it's totally the size of a person, however, even a midget, the shiur is memsah, and it has a minimum shiur. It just doesn't have a specific maximum shiur. Ein goes baruch that says a teretz to Turi Evan's kasha according to what's mavur in Chuvas Raj, but it's brought in the Ramah in the Yoredeya, that says if you have a mikvah that's not in one place and spread apart, and there's no area where someone could be toivel, the Chuvas Rajba says that since there is memsah in the mikvah, add on mayim shuvim in order to enable a tefillah that's called gufay oilabah. So according to this, there is a shiur mesuyim of memsah, that even for a giant the shiur is memsah, and that they need to be moisif more than memsah, could be even shuvim the same way according to the Rajba. If you have a mikvah that's not condensed to one place, you could add on mayim shuvim. So who adin over here, if you have a giant, you could add on water that's mayim shuvim, and the actual shiur of the mikvah is memsah. The Ra'ah argues on the Rajba, and he says if you have a mikvah that's spread apart, and there's no area that someone could be toivel in, then one cannot add on mayim shuvim Ein Sefer Mishnah's Tyrus that's brought in Birchas Tzvi that explained that Al-Koch you see from the Ra'ah that the Shiur of Memsa is not a Shiur in the actual mikvah, rather it's a Shiur that we need a Metzias of Mayim Shekol Gufi Oilabam. We need a Shiur mikvah that one could be toivel in his entire body. Therefore, you need Memsa in one place, and you cannot add on Mayim Shuvim to make Memsa. And Mishnah Satyrus and Birchas Tzvi point out that it could be even according to the Shita of the Ra'ah, that when you have a mikvah that's not in one area, you cannot add on Mayim Shuvim. It could be he'll agree when you have a mikvah that's Memsa, that's fit for tefillah for a regular person and just not large enough for a giant to be toivel in, then it could be the Ra'ah agrees that you could add on Mayim Shuvim, since there is a Shiur of a Hechsher mikvah for most people, and it has a Shiur of Memsa. And that goes to Birchas Tzvi that asks if that's the case, what's the understanding in the Turi Even that says you have to moises specifically Mayim that are not Shuvim, if even according to the Ra'ah, when you have a Shiur of a Hechsher of Memsa in one area, you can moises Mayim Shuvim. What's the understanding in the Turi Even that you need to be moises Davka a mikvah that are kosher? And that the Birchas Tzvi says that it could be that even the Turi Even agrees that one could be moises even Mayim Shuvim in order to be machsher the tefillah of a giant in the mikveh that's Memsa. And nevertheless, Turi Even holds that there is a larger Shiur in the mikveh for a large person, and he says the understanding is according to tremendous Yesodis Mavur in Reb Shimon and Reb Shmuel that explain the sheet of the Mordechai that says that even on a Mayan, tefillah is only kosher with Memsa. But if there is a Shiur of Revius Mayim, then one could be moisif to the Shiur of Memsa with Mayim Shuvim. And Shimon and Shmuel explained understanding is that these two separate halachas in the Shiur of Memsa by a mikvah. The Shiur Memsa of mikvah, that it's in the guf of the hechsher of the mikvah to be machsher. However, by a mayon doesn't need a memsa mitzad the cheftza of the mikvah, and the gabi the cheftza of the mayon's enough with if there's a Shiur of revius, and that it is a Shiur of memsa by mayon. It's halacha in the meilah tefillah that the meilah tefillah of Adam needs a tefillah in memsa. So Birchas Tzvi says that it could be that's understanding in Turi Even, that besides for the Shiur in the Guf HaMikvah, there's another Shiur they need a meilah tefillah shakol Gufi Oileben, and that's a din noisif in the Shiur mikvah, and therefore it doesn't have the same Shiur, a tefillah of a regular person and a tefillah of a giant. It's tzorichin because the stimas loshon and the Turi Even's mashma, they have to be moisiv davko my mikvah that are kosher and not my mikvah that are shuvim. Moving from on the Mishnah on Beis says ein dorshin biarayot b'shloisha. Rashi says it's referring to biarayot and the sasoi. The ein chomov that's learned out from a drasha. The Tosfos is matmi on Rashi wants the understanding why can you not be dorish biarayot and the sasoi. Adarabba, there's many halachas in the Torah that learned out from a drasha. And other rabbi should be mefarsim it and teach it to the rabbim. And what's the meilah of not teaching it to rabbim? So Tosfos says the understanding of the Mishnah is referring to kulas, that specific areas that kedushin is nachar arayis. So therefore, we specific to amei oretz that will end up being the chum you can mefarsim these halachas. And he says who as well, you should not be mefarsim tam oret. I know in Chananel that learns that ein dorshin biarayot means like the Shiur of a bia, of neshika, v'achnas Torah, of a tinoikus that's considered a baspia. Ein marsha that learns that the pshat in ein dorshin biarayot means that we find heterim in the Torah that Cain and Hevel were noisa achoisam, and Yaakov was noisish the achoyis because they're darshan it, and they won't understand properly why Yaakov was Mekel and Cain the Hevel. Mekel the skid come to be Mekel, was skid come to the Michshel Ayin Sham.